All right. Don't mind the glare on my glasses or the little person in the background if you happen to see her. So, I'm going to um, talk about an experience I had using the 5R framework for reflection. So, the 5Rs include reporting, responding, reflecting, reasoning, and reconstructing. So, what I'm going to talk about is a time where we had a client transfer. So, last year we had a labor that needed to transfer to the hospital due to non reassuring fetal heart tones. So, baby had seemed fine, and then heart rate started going down, and we watched it more often, nearly constantly, for a few contractions, and the heart rate was going down into the 80s, and we did not feel comfortable keeping mom and baby at home. So EMS was called. They were told we only needed transportation, that we didn't need any resuscitation or anything like that, just transportation to the hospital. But they came flying in with everything, all their bags, all their equipment, a stretcher, everything. And the laboring mom was upstairs getting her shoes on and coming down, and they were trying to go up, and it was just a mess. So we had to reassure them that everything was under control. The midwife took control of the situation, told them what she needed and what she didn't need. She assigned people to different tasks that needed to happen, and she went with the client to the hospital so that she could continue monitoring the baby on the way. There was lots of people involved. Of course, the midwife. There were 3 of us students there at the time. Of course, the client, her family that was there, and EMS. So lots of people to try to get going in the right directions. I was assigned to stay behind and clean up from the birth, which I gladly did. It made me feel useful and needed, although I was still worried about the mom and the baby, and I wanted to know what was happening. I knew that that was not my place at the time. In that moment, I thought the baby was in serious trouble and that things should have been moving faster. It seemed to me like the midwife was too calm, too collected, too okay with everything. And I think that what made me feel that way was fear, of course, of the unknown and just my lack of experience and knowledge. I had seen situations like this before, but only in a hospital setting. And in settings like that, they do make it seem like it is life or death. Everything moves very fast, kind of out of control. But the midwife was very calm and collected and had things under control. I think that now I have the skills to deal with something like this, whereas at that time I did not. I was still learning and I had a lot of questions. So the most important thing about this situation was that the midwife, who knew what was happening, was in control of herself and the situation, and she handled it beautifully. Personally, I was nervous and scared and worried, just, me as a person. As a student, I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to understand more about what was going on. But professionally, I knew that she had things handled and that I could ask all the questions I wanted to later. So I had to let that go. Someone who is knowledgeable about these types of situations would stay calm, do what's needed, help others to understand what's going on, and why, and then discuss it later with those who need to have more questions answered or more conversations. I think in the future, how I would do this differently would be to not let fear and worry take control. I would stay calm, be useful in whatever way I needed to, and also anticipate what needs to be done. So now that I've had more situations like this, I kind of know what needs to happen and who needs to go where, so I think I could handle it a lot better. One thing that might work is to practice scenarios like this as a birth team so that everybody is on the same page, everybody knows what's expected and what needs to happen, and that we all know our roles. Another option would be to have like a written card or laminated paper that has all the steps of things that need to happen, with blanks to fill in the names of who to do those tasks. That way everybody that's there could be on the same page, and that could just be in the birth bag so that we can fill in like dad is doing this and grandma's doing this and the student is doing this. I think that would be really helpful, and I think that those ideas make sense and that they could work. Some changes that I think I can make of myself that would benefit others would be to continue to learn and to practice scenarios like this and prepare, so that when I'm the one in charge, I can stay calm and focused and take care of these types of urgent situations. So some of the what ifs that have come to my mind in this particular situation is, what if EMS won't listen to me like they did to her? Like what if I can't take charge and tell other people what to do? But I think as I'm coming more into the midwife role, I'm realizing that I would be able to do that, that I am qualified, that I am knowledgeable, and that people will listen to me. Another what if is, what if the family doesn't want to transfer? There comes a point where it's not really an option. Like, this is urgent. It's not safe to be at home anymore, and I would just have to help the family understand that. And then my final one is, what if it's worse than I thought? What if by the time we get there, the baby's not okay? And I think that's a big fear of a lot of people who question out of hospital birth. One of the reasons we train is so that we can anticipate, or not anticipate, but that's so that we can see the signs when things are starting to go that direction and go to the hospital before it gets to the point of no return. So that is my reflection about transferring.